The thing that I want to continue into, because we know that the middle class is going away, right? And so this is a content creator that I follow on a regular basis, and he does these really, really good videos where he goes up to rich people. He'll knock on their doors. He'll walk to their neighborhoods. I'm not so sure that I can get away with it without getting arrested, but that's just the way that it is. Black people have made it difficult to be able to walk into neighborhoods without getting arrested because y'all always out here stealing cars and being Kia boys. Feel some type of way about it. Anyways, since he can do it and I can't, and he has the time to do so and I don't, I'd like to play this video for you in which he's walking around in New York on the street asking specific people, both millionaires and regular people, about what it is that they do and how they got rich or how they made over $1 million. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and I'm definitely going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Let's get started.
We are in the most expensive city in America, New York City. We just checked out a room here that was $10,000 a night. How do these people afford this? Today, we're gonna find out by going up to New Yorkers and asking them, what do y'all do for a living? What kind of stuff do you guys do in New York? What was your career?
Ship owning.
What, really? You own ships?
Yes, mostly tankers.
And you bought and sold tankers?
Yes.
Is that very lucrative of a career?
There are good years and very challenging years. This is the only city in the world we could have started that business.
Very impressive.
It's special.
What kind of company?
That man said he owned tankers. That old man that probably be sitting in the dark doing who God knows what said he owned tankers. I got a lot of work to do out here in these streets.
Did you start?
It's called Haifa limestone, so I import limestone from Europe and the Middle East. We do high-end homes.
How much does limestone cost?
It used to cost me $5,000 a container to ship it before the pandemic. Now it's $20,000.
When did you feel like you made it in America?
I wanted to make $1 million before I turned 30, and it turns out that was the easiest one to make. After that, it got harder.
Look at all of the different ways in which people are making money. I think that that's probably the most fascinating thing about these videos is that for some reason, all of my people, let me switch my head up. For some reason, all of my people think that the only way that you can make money is being a ball player or a rapper. And I'm like, yo, it's some people that's doing some incredibly unique things. They just open to the possibility. And the only way that you really find out how to really get into certain businesses is you got to be open to networking. You got to be spending time around people that don't necessarily do what you do, or they can't necessarily relate to you, or they not all just black or living in an echo chamber. Sometimes the most unique opportunities, or, you know, an opportunity for you to solve a problem within the marketplace, which is really how you're supposed to really get rich. You solve a problem in a marketplace, or you add value into something. You got to get out of your comfort zone and network more effectively, which is getting out into the streets and participating in society.
It's been a really fun ride, but you know, success is different for everybody. It's like, what's success? Is it $1 million? Is it 50 million? Is it 500 million? You know, it's not a number. It's more what makes you happy.
What does finance do?
I take people's money and try to give them more money back, essentially.
Sounds like a finesse.
What do people make in that career?
Hundreds of thousands.
So if someone was just starting out, what would you recommend?
Work hard, keep grinding.
What was it like for you?
A lot of hours, kissing ass, and got to make a name for yourself.
He said it was kissing ass and you got to make a name for yourself. Sounds like marketing and being a cultural fit, which I've been beating you guys over the head for the last 2 to 3 years. Marketing and being a cultural fit. When you do that, making a name for yourself, and sometimes you got to kiss some frogs in order to find your prince, ladies. You got to kiss some frogs in order to find your prince, ladies. If you're unwilling to do that, then I hope that you're ready to just get a regular job, because nobody is going to give you anything that you are not working hard for.
We're selling farmland at auction. We sell in 40 different states. We sell quite a bit of land in Texas. Love Texas. Texas is a great state.
Is that a lucrative career, selling farmland?
It's a good career. Excellent career.
What kind of work are you in?
I head up operations for North America for a English brand. We design and manufacture kitchenware products.
Really? Which kind of products?
It's a brand's called Joseph. Anything chopping boards.
Joseph, they have like the super famous cutting boards?
Yeah, the multi, like lots of colors.
How'd you end up getting in that work?
I've been with the brand like 10 years. I started off.
Think about it. Look at this old white woman that y'all gonna automatically call racist or a Karen if y'all walk into a grocery store and she don't let you cut first in the line. and she's walking around with a tennis outfit on in the middle of New York City, which is one of the reasons why I love New York. I love New York City. I adore New York in the summertime, minus the Reds. But I love New York City. I love going to New York City. I love spending my summers hanging out in New York City. I love being in the streets. I love riding the subway. I love walking around. It is one of the best experiences that you guys have to. If you guys have not spent an extended amount of time in New York City, this spring, this summer, go over there, hang out, interact with people, go into places that you wouldn't normally go into, speak, say hi, start up a conversation. You don't know who you're going to run into. And part of networking is participating in spaces that you wouldn't normally be in, because that's where your opportunities come from, is maintaining relationships.
From customer service.
From customer service to like running all of North America.
Yes.
How'd you do that?
Through hard work, I was able to move up 3 different departments, and so now I've head up.
If someone was starting in their career, what would you recommend for them?
Hard work, getting in, making sure you don't mind putting in the extra hours.
We thought it'd be easy to get some advice from the rich and wealthy that live in New York City.
Sir, do you have a few minutes?
Not right now.
No.
The common theme with all of these people is that they're willing to work the hours that other people aren't willing to work, and they're willing to be in spaces that other people are not willing to be in order to be successful. That's the common theme that you see when all of these people are doing what they do. They then get to the point to where they can buy their time back. They can enjoy themselves a little bit more. But ultimately, it's all networking and then doing the thing that other people are unwilling to do in order to become successful. That's really what it really comes down to. When y'all sleeping, I'm working. When y'all chilling, when you whining about the man and all of that other type of stuff, I go and I put on a completely different hat, switch my outfit, go over to this particular space and network every single day. Every night. There are people that DM me. Literally. It's a guy that DM me just the other day. Let me show you what the DM says. Every day I get different DMs that see me. Some people speak to me. Some people don't. Guy said, yo, I saw you walking back. I saw you walking down Woodward today from Mac. Right here. And I say, yep, that was me. I'm literally out and about. I go to a different space. I got some upcoming interviews, for example, right? That's dropping in the Patreon. And I was able to get connected with different people. I got a hacker that's coming over that actually did time. And he's given us a lot of insight on how you can get in certain industries from a financial perspective, all of the money that's available, and how he was able to navigate from getting arrested at a very early age in order to be able to get into certain industries. Now, not only is he a professor, but he's also a very financially successful person that is incredibly insightful. I might have an upcoming interview with the guys from StockX. I might have some upcoming interview with some people that supply some very, 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 very famous people with a lot of their products and services and things like that. But do you know how I was able to get a lot of these interviews? It's because I connect with and I'm out in the street every single day. And I'm linking up with people and I'm having a good time. You know, some of the people that y'all have seen, for example, on the panel, I've heard some of y'all say some crazy stuff in the chat and stuff like that. And y'all don't even know that this person might be the right-hand man or right-hand woman of this other person that then connected me with this person that allows for me to be able to mine out the information that I drop for y'all in the Patreon in an upcoming interview, right? Certain CEOs I got coming on, certain connected people, politicians that I got coming on, but it's because I'm out in the streets. I'm out participating. I'm out at your favorite bar. I'm out at Campus Martius Parks. I'm going to the ice skating rinks. I go to certain gyms, not necessarily because I like that particular gym or because it gives me all of the muscles. It's because it allows for me to be able to play racquetball with the guy that I don't necessarily even care about racquetball about, but he's a really cool dude and he invited me over there to go there. And so I always say yes. I say yes to everything. I'm always saying yes. People invite me places. Hey, Anton, come out to dinner with us. I just figure out how I can fit it into my schedule. I'm yesing all the time because I want to learn about you. I want to find out what it is that you do. Next thing you know, they'll be like, man, I like you. Rita got me this other interview lately. Relationships is transactional. She out there, what was that, yesterday, going out to dinner and all of this other type of stuff, building relationships. And next thing you know, she's like, man, I love y'all so much. I need to hook y'all up with this person. I'm like, wait a minute, she know them? Rita like, yeah, I got it for you. Y'all have to be open. Y'all have to be open to the possibilities. Y'all only want to work with people that look like y'all. You shooting yourself in the foot. You preventing me from getting the information that you're supposed to get because you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
But the more we tried to approach him, the more we got rejected. But the people we met who weren't part of the super rich had some of the most inspiring stories.
How much is your rent here?
So I pay $1,200. Literally right down here, it's small. It's like 70 square feet, like super small.
70 square feet.
Yeah, I didn't want to pay too.
How many of y'all are willing to live? How many of y'all are willing to live in a 70 square foot place in order to be in a space that you need to be in order to become successful? How many of y'all are willing to pay $1,200 a month for a 70 square foot place to live in the city and be close to the people that you're supposed to be close to? That's a question for your ass right there.
Too much, but I wanted to like live the New York experience. So like start out like small and then work your way up.
And what do you do for work?
Business development.
And what do y'all do in New York?
I'm in horticulture.
What is horticulture?
Gardening. I work at a baseball stadium, so I do all the grounds outside the stadium.
You do like the grass, like the Mets or the Yankees?
Yeah, that's City Field.
What do horticulturists make?
Not enough.
6 figures?
No. 75.
What kind of work do you do in New York?
I do recruitment.
What kind of people are you recruiting?
So I do more in the fashion business. So
these
what does someone
people
like that
aren't the
make?
millionaires. These are regular, everyday people that he's actually just interviewing. He already interviewed a lot of the millionaires, but these are regular, everyday people that he's interviewing, and he's finding out what they do for a living and how much they make. The horticulture guy that does the grounds for the Yankee Stadium and stuff like that makes $75,000 a year in New York.
Make as a recruiter? What's like the range of salary?
well, you have a base and then you get commission.
What was your first New York salary? Do you remember the first paycheck?
$34K.
All right, so we're taking a quick break from shooting, and I want to thank Ramp.com for helping make this video check break. You've been thinking about checking out Ramp.
Sales for a company called Okta. I'm a product manager at a property tech company as well.
What are the range of salaries at these kind of tech companies?
Upwards of like 3-4.
Look at this. Look at this black man sitting there having conversations next to a friend of his that just so happened to not be black. What? You don't say. And now he's breaking down how he makes possibly between $300,000 and $400,000 a year. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that there's black people and white people and what y'all call brown and blue and beige people that are walking and working together in this melting pot of cities such as New York City that is getting money together, and then they become friends and they don't actually hate each other because they're actually different colors? What? You don't say.
400 in a year, and then I know some people who make around like 120.
Dude, it's all over the place, like depending on the job. Like as a product manager, you'd say the low end is probably around 100. You guys at Google are probably making like 400 all in.
I'm a graphic designer. I now work at Google.
Like generally, how much do you make range?
When I first moved, I think I made like 80 grand a year or something like that. And she was in school and making no money.
What would be your advice for someone that's new coming to New York?
Come with friends. Be willing to live in like totally shit situations and take whatever job that you can.
Be willing to live in trash situations and take whatever you can to get your foot in the door, and then you work your ass off and you make yourself a valuable asset to where they then start to see and promote you, and then you grow and you become more successful. No. You thought that you were supposed to make the same thing as him because you was a woman, instead of putting in your time, putting in the hours, getting your 10,000 hours in and doing what it is that you're supposed to do.
Take risks, try new things, push yourself. You know, I think playing it safe in New York doesn't get you very far.
Are you in tech, or what do you do for it? I was trying to guess. I was like designer, architect.
No, I work in finance.
Oh, do you? Do you wear this to work?
I've worn this to work, but I usually wear black pants.
What kind of stuff do you do in finance?
Asset management.
Like, what are the ranges of salaries that someone could be?
Starting out, I think the average wage is like $95K.
What do you do for work?
Finance for Department of Education.
Like the government? So like I help pay for you a little bit.
Basically. This is all your taxpayer dollars.
What is the Department of Education?
He looked just like he
So
worked
I
there.
oversee special ed finance. Budgets in finance when it relates to special needs kids.
How much money is that in the budget that you guys manage?
I manage about $6 billion.
He manages a $6 billion budget for special education students. Is that how much that we're allocating in that particular city just for that? Are we allocating $6 billion for special education? Don't get me started. Don't even get me started. No way that we're allocating that type of budget for special education. No way. No way. I don't believe it. No freaking way. No way. No how. No way, no how that we allocating that amount of money over into special education. No way. Wow.
Dude, that is wild. Is that wild to you? How much would you be making if you were in private, you think?
I want to say like 180, 200.
What kind of stuff do you do in New York? What do you do for work?
I'm a lawyer.
I don't know if I want to be sued by you or have you as like my defense. What kind of law?
None of the above, yeah. I'm a corporate lawyer.
What's the range of what a lawyer can make in New York?
Between 50,000 to maybe 100,000. But if you're in the corporate space, you probably make six figures.
What do you do in New York?
I'm a composer.
That is so cool. What do you compose?
I compose music for TV.
Is there anything that we've heard or?
There was the opening sequence on Shameless, a TV show.
What's a top composer make? Like, I have no idea.
There's Hans Zimmer. He makes quadrillions, but then it goes down to pennies per stream on like Spotify or whatever, like 0.0008 cents.
And what do you do in New York?
I'm a consultant for a healthcare company. I work with getting
Oh, you already know she about to get to the bag. I already know she get to the bag.
legalized medical marijuana.
Really? How did you get into that career?
Former client in the pharmaceutical industry sought me out. I worked for CBS Television for 21 years, running their health division.
What's the salary of someone like this? Is someone aspired to be a consultant?
It's an IPO, so pay isn't great, but there's.
So let me tell y'all the difference between an IPO and somebody that automatically goes into a corporate entity that's already fully functioning and making a lot of money, right? Some people call me a lot of times and they get coaching calls and they say, Anton, I got this position at a potential IPO. IPO stands for initial public offering, right? So it's a company that is private that is looking to go public so that they can raise a lot of money. And then what happens is once they go public, you get paid a lot of money and then you go off and you go into the sunset and you get really, really rich as a result of it. A lot of people that wind up going into the IPO sector, either they're very, very young or they're very, very seasoned. You very rarely found people in the middle because the people in the middle, they got families, they don't want to take a lot of risks and things like that. So usually what happens with an IPO or a potential IPO or a small startup company is they're trying to grow to the point to where, and they're largely dependent on venture capitalists and raising money and raising funds, right? But they're trying to grow to the point to where they can become an IPO, which would then turn the amount that you own in the company. So in order to recruit people to work there, because they can't recruit them and pay them more than what a lot of these corporate entities do, right? It's very hard to pay somebody what Google paying somebody versus what an IPO can compete. And so what they'll do is they say, listen, we'll give you equity in the company. At one point, Apple was a company that was raising money and then it was going to go public. That's why Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, Microsoft, for example, that was a company that went public, and that's how Steve Ballmer, who now owns the Clippers, and Bill Gates got rich. Even Tesla themselves, they were a private company that wound up going public, and Elon Musk got really, really rich as a result of it. Uber, every single company that's listed on the stock index, at one point they were a private company or they were spun off, and they were, then went public. The difference is the risk. It's a strong possibility that the company will fail and it'll never really make any money and it won't go public. And then it's another possibility that the company will get bought out, such as Instagram being bought out by Facebook or whatever, so on and so forth. YouTube, for example. And then in the last instance, there's a strong possibility that it'll become incredibly successful. So the reason why young people can do that is because they're willing to take the risk. They take less money on the front end. Hopefully they get really rich and they make a lot of money on the back end. Once the company go public, they become millionaires, right? People that have been in other spaces for a long time, a lot of times they get recruited over into these small companies or into these privately owned companies. And then they get paid a decent base salary. They're willing to forego a little bit of the money because they made a lot of money or they have a lot of experience in order to make a lot of money on the back end from being recruited into these companies. So when you see somebody that says, yo, listen, I work for a potential IPO or a company that's looking to be IPO'd, or work in this new tech venture company, or so on and so forth. That means that they taking less money on the front end in order to get the bag on the back end. That's how you get really rich. That's how you make a lot of money.
The equity when it goes public.
What kind of work are you in?
I work in finance, but there's opportunities in every industry.
How do you think you made it?
Just hard work. You like to work, you come to New York.
How much work is hard work?
I'm a workaholic, but I think in any field, like whether you're a lawyer, a banker, New York City is a place, it's a magnet for people who like to work hard.
Do you love what you do?
I love what I do, yeah.
That was great. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. What's been different and interesting about the story?
So, long story short, the common theme here is that in every environment, if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to go hard, if you're willing to make sacrifices, if you possibly live in to live in a shitty environment, work longer hours than everybody else, that is the common theme amongst these people, and they make an informed decision of what success looks like. People that's always asking for handouts, anybody that's looking to beg to get to a certain space, they're always going to be on the tail end of the conversation, because nobody is going to give you anything. You have to figure out how to add value into the marketplace. You got to work your ass off. You got to network all the way up to the top of the food chain. And that's how you build your connections and things like that. It's not going to a networking event. But if you're willing to do the things that other people are unwilling to do and add value into the market, you will be incredibly successful.